Yo, what's up? This is Jeremy from Innovation Garage LLC, capital of the state, baby. All right, here we go. Let's talk about this Mustang. Everything was squared up. Everything was leveled up. Everything was braced up. Jack stands underneath the rockers. Jack stands underneath the up underneath the rail. Everything's where it needed to go. Everything. Make sure the doors shut. Make sure everything. This is the way it was. Got all this squared away. I know some people are gonna say, "Hey, that ain't the way you're supposed to do it." But as you can see, everything is sitting pretty square and flush, and everything is just mocked up right now. Everything's just put in with some sheet screws. The firewall is in to get everything where it needs to go. All these flanges was put where they needed to go, hammered and dollied. Put a couple sheet screws in there to hold that. These doors, nothing moved. Everything was lined up, measured before everything was cut. The doors still shut like they did before. Now, here we're gonna look a little thing. All right, these firewalls panel is not as wide as the car. So, fun. So once all that gets in there, now there was a bracket that was here that was about 6 inches long, 6.5 inches long. It was a right angle. It was spot welded to the inner, and it was spot welded to the floor pan. Well, it was rotted out too as well. So that is what's going on. I cut all this out, got it braced up, everything's good. There's the new firewall, all that's good. And once this gets in the firewall, once the firewall gets where it needs to be, everything will be sheet metaled in. I'll put the fenders on it, make sure the fenders line up to the doors, and then I'll set the hood on it, make sure the hood lines up to the cowl right here, make sure everything where it needs to go in case anything needs to be moved forward or backwards, left or right. And once all that's squared away, the hood lines up like it's supposed to be, the fenders lined up, everything's here. Well, I'll pull a square from here to there. I'll check it again. I measured from corner to corner before anything got cut. I measured, I had a reference point from up here on the firewall over, and from here, let me back this up, from here over, and then from here over, make sure it was square this way, pull it off a reference point from here to over there, and over there with the tram to make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. Nothing is rust free, fellas. There's rust everywhere. That's blood. Hammered and dollied this flange. You see everything is real tight like it's supposed to be. Everything's lining up pretty nice except down there at the bottom. So everything's pretty solid, pretty tight gaps. Everything's fitting nice. Now, once all this gets where it needs to go, I'll wire brush everything. I'll metal treat everything. I'll get all the rust out. I might even have it blasted. I'll zinc all the ends. This piece will come out. All this will get metal treated inside. While it's already open here, once I take this back out, I'm gonna spray cavity wax in the rail to make sure all that's where it needs to be. It's fun, fellas. It's fun. So that's what I got going on. And once this gets done, then I'll have it all blasted. The dash will be blasted, car will be blasted. Once all the metal is done, then go there. Have to fix the dash, or somebody cut it out. Then we'll go from there. So that's what we got going on. You can see that the firewall needs to be scooted over a little bit, but it is not as wide as it's supposed to be. And somebody's probably gonna say, "Oh, it's moved over. You didn't do something right or whatever." No, right there is the answer to your question right there. That's the answer to your question. It's aftermarket. Nothing fits like it's supposed to. But I took precautions, measured everything, braced everything, locked everything down. Everything is pretty nice where it's supposed to be, other than some little odd and end things here and there. But take some sheet metal, make some new brackets, and go from there. To get the steering column out, fellas, on these Mustangs, you have to take the gearbox off, you have to take the steering wheel off, and you have to pull the shaft out, and you'll leave the housing. But since I cut the firewall, I just cut a lamp around it, because he's going to get a new gearbox, I believe, refurbish the steering column, he's going to get a new steering wheel, and we'll go from there, and that'll be painted. So, this is the update on the Mustang. Again, I appreciate everybody. Appreciate your support. If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like what you see, still give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you don't want to see. I appreciate every single one of you. Remember what I said, don't worry about the man up the road. Don't worry about the man down the road. Put God first, let loose and drag. Peace, love, and chicken grease. I'm out.